Hello, good evening, esteemed viewers. This is Satellite Media. Let us quickly look at the retreat of the Senate that is going on in Kano, where the North vehemently rejected every move to return to regionalism. We understand that the Southern senators were of the view that Nigeria should return to regionalism through federalism. But surprisingly, the North said they can never and will never go back to regionalism. We understand that someone like Senator Agbor, who a senator from Bauchi State, was resolute in his position, as according to him, that his people never benefited through regionalism that was passed in the past, and they stick to the 1999 constitution that is not working. But the question we should be asking at this point is the 1999 constitution that the North is hinging on, that they say it will take extraordinary means to amend. We need to ask questions. How do that constitution come about? A constitution that was imposed on Nigerians, a constitution that was forced on Nigerians by the military, can never be seen as a true constitution of the country. We need a people's-oriented constitution. And let me say at this point that you cannot be telling Biafrans, telling the Igbos not to leave Nigeria if you refuse to do the needful. To do the needful is to amend the constitution in such a way that everybody will have input. We understand in 2014 when we had confab that seek to address most of all these abnormalities. But unfortunately, that confab have not seen the light of the day. The report is still gathering dust in the shelf in the government circle. But the point is, the North are the greater beneficiary of the fraudulent status quo we find ourselves. Because a state like Kano that's having 44 local governments, and we understand that when you want to share national resources, it goes by the number of local government you have in your local government. And when we are looking at the representative house of rep, it goes by the number of local government you have in your state. And a state like Jigawa State that was carved out of Kano is having 27 local governments. A state like Kano is having 44. A state like Lagos that is most populated in Nigeria is having just about 25 local governments. So what's the rationale of saying you are not going to tinker with the constitution? Though I understand that going by House of Rep, I think it is by population that people are represented in the House of Rep. I think that must explain the reason Lagos State have more House of Rep members more than any other state. But saying that the constitution cannot be amended under this current arrangement, or perhaps through constitutional amendment that will see the retreat going on in Kano, I think it's a disservice to Nigerians and to Nigeria, because the constitution we are using was not people's oriented constitution. There was never a time in life in the history of Nigeria that Nigerians came together under any platform, whether by way of constitutional conference, whether by way of any organization, to say we want to amend or come up with a constitution. And the most fraudulent part of it is that it said that we, the people of Nigeria, that is what the constitution is saying in its preamble. You begin to wonder at what point the Nigerians came together to write that constitution. So if we must address the myriad of challenges we are having, we must address that constitution. The constitution that must be seen as the pro constitution must be a constitution that you draw members in form of constituent representative that is apolitical. A situation where everybody will be represented and they go and argue out. How do we want to continue to exist? Otherwise, if you are not doing this, I don't see any reason holding people like the Igbos, the Biafrans, who say they want their own separate states. If you must exist together, it must be through unanimous agreements, through people's oriented constitution, not forcing, imposing a constitution on Nigeria like what we have currently. Before, at independence, the constitution of Nigeria that we got from 1960 to 1963 was not this type of imposition that does not have the people's input. So for me, Nigeria must come together and demand for a people's-oriented constitution. What we have currently is not working. I take a note of what came from Senator Agbor, that when they did, when we were practicing the journalism, that people never benefited. I think they needed to hold their people to account to ensure that they bring difference of democracy to their people, rather than using that as a justification to say he's not supporting regional government or bringing the government, organizing the country to the extent of having maybe regional system of governance. For me, I think that's the way to go. Because I took note of what came from Emeka Nyako, who was the Secretary General of Commonwealth. Of course, this is a man that have had experience of about 52 countries, going by his role as the then Secretary General of Commonwealth, who have said, considering the plurality of Nigeria, that if Nigeria must continue to exist, we need a peoples-oriented constitution. We need to go back to true federalism. We need to go back to regionalism as a better way for everybody to come together and coexist as one entity. He cited some instances where plurality caused countries to perhaps volcanize. You cannot quickly forget the issue of I think Slovakia that volcanized as a result of plurality. He mentioned Sudan that volcanized as a result of plurality, and Nigeria as it is currently, we cannot deceive ourselves. Nigeria is only united in the mind of the politicians and in the eye of the constitution. In the sense of it, going on the street, looking at Nigerians by ethnicity, the Igbos, the Yorubas, the Hausas, there is no unity. The unity can only come if there is a peoples-oriented constitution where people come together to decide that yes, this is how we want to be governed, this is how we want to relate to relate with one another. Until we get to that point, I don't think we are in any way near a peaceful environment. I personally had a encounter with experience in the north where I did my youth service in Jigawa State. To be quite honest with you, in Jigawa State and most of the parts of the north, in the local government system is not working. They wait at the end of every month, receive allocation for the federal government, they share it. Once they share it, they all disappear. Both the staff of the local government chairman, councillors, they all disappear and wait for another month when allocation will come. By implication, what that means is they are leveraging on the money, on the resources that are created to the state through the federation account. In as much as I may not say they should not leverage on it, but they should not stand as an impediment to restructure the country in order to bring dividends of democracy to the people. And the argument of some northerners that every part of the country is abundantly blessed, they should understand that if every part of the country is abundantly blessed, they should allow people to control their resources. They should equally control their own resources and perhaps pay a dividend tax to federal government as may be decided when there is need for a constitutional review of the current status quo that we have now. To be quite honest with you, our current system is not working, and there's every need to rejig that constitution to give us a peoples-oriented constitution so that things can start working. Thank you very much. I'm Mr. Madu, and this is Satellite Media.